Hey guys, it's the Uniformed Historian. I'm joining you from the Hurricane Bridge battlefield, which took place 163 years ago. This very day, this very moment, you would have had Confederate and Yankee balls flying back and forth right through where I'm standing. Sort of behind me, you can see where the Union fort under the command of Captain James W. Johnson was, with his small force of Union men against a lot more Confederates that showed up here under Albert G. Jenkins. And one of the accounts that was left behind is rather artistic, and I love it, so I thought I would share it with you today. You can actually find it in Phil Hatfield's book about the battle that took place here. This was written by Martin Van Buren Edens of Company A of the 13th West Virginia Infantry. Between a high hill and a circuitous ridge is the neat little town known as Hurricane Bridge, or at least 'twas a neat little village before the rebellion arose in bright days of yore. But rebellion has banished those pleasures so sweet, and the wail of despair is now heard in the street. The many fine buildings in ashes are laid, the wealth of the inmates forever decayed. The 13th Virginia is camped near this town, who in the late battle have won great renown. The regiment is formed of a brave set of boys who accomplished their work without making much noise. But Albert G. Jenkins, not aware of that fact, came early one morning to make an attack. With a yard of white cotton unfurled to the breeze, his staff came into camp while Jenkins stayed behind trees. 'Twas Samuels who brought in the banner of truce. Says Johnson, to surrender I this morning refuse. In the time which is given to my works I'll repair, and give you a battle on principles fair. When cool as an iceberg we fell into line, to defend the bright stars which on our banner doth shine, and to hold our position at Hurricane Bridge, in spite of the Rebs on each neighboring ridge. For Jenkins marched forth with his menacing host to capture or drive us away from our post. He threw his men round on top of each hill to make us surrender or fly at his will. He thought with his men on the left and the right, he would capture our squad without having a fight. And with Yankee clothing he his men would equip, and thus would secure successful his trip. But Albert was much disappointed to find, to surrender that morning we were not inclined. Then he told all his men to prepare for the blow, and soon they'd conquer the insolent foe. From each hilltop they fired on the 13th in vain, for each at his post did boldly remain. For the space of 4 hours he fought very hard, but his incessant firing we not much did regard. Like Jeff Davis's script, that's much more plenty than good, they sent in their lead from each neighboring wood. Like the insects that sing in the long days of June, the balls from the Rebs almost whistled a tune. But it was not sufficient to induce us to dance. It was like Mason in England or Slidell in France, who after they made known their treacherous plan, have to end their hard labor just where they began. With stomachs quite empty and feet without shoes, each felt like a bankrupt with a spell of the blues. Like a dishonored guest ere the banquet is o'er, arrives at the feast and is kept from the door. They knew in our camp were crackers, coffee, and meat, and they longed to get in to get something to eat. Like Cruz's man Friday, who on the mountain did stand, and beheld in the distance his own native land, with obstacles in front which he could not surmount, was not able to settle the lengthy account, and fell ere he crossed o'er the dark rolling wave, and found in the deep sea a watery grave. So Jenkins, after giving us a hard shower of hail, and finding with muskets he could not prevail, sent out his command to retreat from the field, for the 13th Virginia was too stubborn to yield. Being tired and hungry, they left in disgust, aware of the fact that Albert won't do trust. He promised to give him both food and attire, in short, everything that a Reb could desire. Except a good thrashing they left as they came, with nothing to brighten Jeff Davis's fame. And Jenkins found out that one blunder he made, in seeking for sunshine, he found naught but shade. And that's a poem that was written about the Battle of Hurricane Bridge that took place here 163 years ago this very day. I just thought I'd take a moment to share that with you, but if you want to read more about this battle, definitely get this book. I highly recommend it. And if you tell Phil Hatfield that the Uniformed Historian sent you, I bet you'll even sign it for you. So take care, God bless, I'll see you guys at the next Uniformed Historian site.